Hi everyone, my name's Stephanie and welcome to the second annual Nail Polish Awards video. So if you're relatively new to my channel, last year I created my Nail Polish Awards video as a way to celebrate the great and not so great collections that were released in the year. But this year I wanted to do things a little bit differently by having you guys also vote in for your winners. So about a week ago, I created a little survey posted to my community tab, and thank you to everyone who submitted your responses. In case you missed it and didn't get a chance to vote, I would still love it if you included your winners for all of the categories down below in the comments. So without further ado, let's get into the awards and nominations. The first category we have is Nailed the Theme, and it's pretty much exactly as it sounds. This award goes to a brand whose collection just perfectly encapsulated the theme. And this was definitely a hard one for me because I feel like there were so many amazing collections this year with really fun, unique themes that all had very cohesive, well put together color palettes. And I know we just started the video, but you guys are gonna be so annoyed at me because I could not choose between two. So my two winners are Mooncat's Lost in a Folktale collection and Island P's Fairy Forest collection. Now, I know that is not technically how awards work, but it's my video. I'm breaking the rules a little bit, but just for this one category. If you remember my video from last year, my winner for this category was Mooncat's Once Upon a Fairy Tale collection. So there's a pretty obvious through line here. I am just a sucker for any fairy themed collection. So I feel like you can't totally blame me for having these two collections as my winners. Interestingly enough though, your top winner by a landslide was Mooncat's Midnight Rodeo collection. I was honestly kind of surprised by this specific collection, but I guess I can see it. Like, it definitely does give off very Western desert vibes, but with a little bit of Area 51, like that typical Mooncat flair. I feel like generally because the collection was so large, there was just a lot of options for different people depending on their tastes. But overall, I am not surprised that Mooncat won because they could easily sweep this whole category, and they pretty much did. They were the top 3 spots, with the Underworld collection coming in second place and then the Alice in Wonderland collab coming in third place. So now let's head into the seasonal awards because, as you probably know, I am a huge seasonal wearer. I am just such a sucker for well put together seasonal collections. So first up, we have the best spring collection, and no surprise, my winner is Island P's Fairy Forest collection. It's just such a beautiful collection. It has a lighter color palette that I think is a lot more airy and whimsical, especially for spring. Like, that is exactly what I want. And apparently you guys want that too, because this one won by a landslide with a whopping 30 votes, while the Lost in a Folktale collection came in second place with 5 votes. I honestly thought that was kind of crazy, but I'm not surprised at the same time. And third place was tied between Island P's Something Sweet collection, which was their kind of pastel speckled release, and Mooncat's Goddess Complex collection, which was gonna be my honorable mention because I absolutely love those shimmery ethereal shades so much for spring. The next award is for Best Summer Collection, and my winner goes to Cirque's Surfer's Crush collection. Technically, this did release in like late spring. I think it was maybe around March or April if I remember correctly, but it is very obviously a summer themed collection, at least in my opinion. If you watched either of my favorite shimmers video, you know that I just love this specific shimmer formula from Cirque Colors. I just think it's one of their best formulas in their catalog, and we hadn't really seen them release that type of formula in a while. So once we got this bright and punchy rainbow lineup for summer, I was just so excited about it. It was just an immediate favorite for me. Now, my honorable mention would go to Mooncat's Mermaid Tales collection because duh. It is just so fun and beautiful for the summer. I love the mix of shades and finishes, but I really only found myself going back towards Merkitten or Hermit Crab and not so much the other shades. Funny enough, Mooncat's Mermaid Tales collection also came in second place for everyone who voted, losing by a decent amount to Holo Taco's Vacation Collection. I can definitely respect that being your number one pick. It is definitely a fun, beautiful range of shades. Personally, I don't love seeing like such dark shades included in the brighter summer or even spring type of collections. I just thought Tax Haven and Late Checkout would have been just more perfect for the fall season. But as a lineup, it definitely was a fun range of shades and finishes because they were all like these new formulas to Holo Taco's catalog, so I can understand why it's so fresh and exciting and worthy of winning number one. Third place actually went to Cirque's Vice collection, which I feel like shouldn't be a surprise because their Vice collection is definitely their most anticipated collection of the year. This past year, they brought back 3 previous Vice shades and introduced 3 new ones, but the 3 new ones were kind of like pastel neons, and I remember not a lot of people loving that. I personally was a fan, but I think if they did have the more traditional, like in-your-face, bright neon kind of lineup, they easily would have taken this category. Moving on, the next award is Best Fall Collection. Now look, I am an October baby, and I am pretty biased when I say that I love fall and think that it is the best season, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you out there who are born in another season that would also agree that fall is just a beautiful season, not just in general, but for nail polishes. This year, I was really drawn to a lot of those rich, luxurious creams. So my winner is Orly's Spice It Up collection. Now, I know the formulas on some of them weren't the best, but I think the color palette was just so freaking perfect. I also love the general theme, like with the spices and everything. It just was so nice. I unfortunately was a little late to sharing it to my channel, but it just was such a beautiful collection that I just kept coming back to. Your winner, however, was Mooncat's Midnight Rodeo collection. Even though there were 2 or 3 lighter sort of shades, the rest of them can definitely pass for a beautiful fall collection. I don't remember if it was released in August or September of this year, but it definitely was that dark, rich lineup of shades. We obviously had a lot of browns that I think were so fitting for fall. I'm not surprised that they won. And rounding out these seasonal awards, the last one that I have is for the Best Winter Collection. And this was kind of hard for me because I feel like even though it is the most recent, there just weren't that many collections that were jumping out at me right away. So I know that there's some heavy recency bias here, but I think my winner is gonna be Island P's Overcast collection. It is just such a beautiful, perfectly moody lineup of blues and neutrals that are packed with these magical, glowy, iridescent flakies. And if you don't know me, I also have a favorite flakies video, and I'm just such a fan of like jelly flaky formulas, especially iridescent flakies. Like they are just so pretty. I think they just glowed against those moody blue bases. Wearing them as a Skittle just took my breath away. I was like, this is such a beautiful collection. And like I've mentioned so many times on my channel before, I'm just not a huge fan of winter. Island P is making me look at those rainy days with like a new appreciation just through this collection. Kind of like I shared in my winter favorites video, I like to look at winter as more than just the holidays, and Overcast just seemed so perfect for me. My honorable mention would go to CX Polish's Snowbound collection. It just had this beautiful mix of shimmers and micro glitters in both winter and slightly festive colors. So I am just such a fan of them, and the formulas were absolutely amazing. So I was just impressed with them overall. But I will say that to me, they feel like a little bit holiday themed. So that's why I didn't pick them as the winner for the general winter collection. So there were a couple of votes for both CX Polish Polish's Snowbound collection and Island P's Overcast collection. Coming in third was Mooncat's Inner Apocalypse collection, which I can definitely see for sure. Very dark, very moody, perfect for winter. In second was Island P's Home for the Holidays collection, which also makes sense. I mean, I am a big fan of that jelly flaky formula. It's more of like a scattered holographic type of flaky, so it's different than Overcast. And your number one pick was KB Shimmer's Best in Snow collection. This definitely makes so much sense. It is a beautiful, beautiful lineup. I only picked up 3 of the shades from this collection during Black Friday, but I feel like if I did review them and try them all out, they probably would be like either my top pick or my honorable mention because they are just so freaking stunning. I really love KB Shimmer collections. They are just usually so varied in their colors and finishes, but they're still very cohesive. So you really could like enjoy the whole collection, or there's just like something for everybody depending on your personal taste. They actually only won by 1 vote, which I think is kind of crazy that Island P's Home for the Holidays was like that close behind. But I guess even though it is a holiday theme, like holidays is in the name of the collection, I can still see it working just because it has a lot of neutrals. It really is just the red and green that are very like Christmas colors. I also immediately think of like the Christmas tree in the back of the red truck aesthetic. So it definitely makes sense. But those were your winners for the seasonal awards. So moving on, the next award is one that I don't think any brand would want to win, and that is the most disappointing collection. Obviously, everybody's taste is a little bit different when it comes to nail polishes. It makes perfect sense that we are not all going to agree on everything always, but this year I think we can all agree that the most disappointing release award goes to Cirque's Scream Queen collection. So a couple of months ago, Cirque released their Scream Queen collection for Halloween that included a silver chunky glitter topper and 4 glow-in-the-dark sheer tinted bases. So not jelly polishes like I was calling them in my video. I apparently missed the memo, sorry. And they were just not great. In case you don't know, Cirque actually does have a beautiful range of jelly polishes. So I was kind of expecting these 4 were just gonna be these glow in the dark versions in like slightly different colors to what's already in their catalog, but they were super, super sheer. Like, I mean, impossibly sheer, where I just don't know what the point of them was, especially if they were marketed as tinted bases, because then they eventually switched to calling them toppers. It just was not the best move, especially because of the price point. Releasing something so sheer like that, and especially not having a great glow in the dark effect, just was disappointing. I know there were a few people out there who did enjoy these polishes, but a lot of you guys also voted for this collection as your winner for most disappointing. It is kind of a shame because this is now the 2nd year in a row that Cirque has won the most disappointing award. Last year they won for the Fantastical collection, which was their thermals. They also got my dishonorable mention for the Bubbly collection, which was the magnetic holographic jellies. I've obviously ranted about those collections a couple of times already in last year's video specifically, if you want to go hear about that. I know a lot of people are kind of like over Cirque. They haven't really been enjoying the collections that they put out this year in general. And while I can see that, I personally have been a fan of a lot of their releases. So I thought that they were like, you know, kind of on the right path. But then once they put out this Scream Queen collection, I was like, why did you do this? Like, we were rooting for you. It just was not great. So unfortunately, but unsurprisingly, they are the winner. And my dishonorable mention goes to OPI's Big Zodiac Energy collection. I haven't really shared anything like astrology related on my channel in a while, but when they announced that collection, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so fun. You know, we can like talk about it and everything. But then once I like saw them up close, I was like, what is this? But surprisingly, second place for most disappointing collection goes to Mooncat's Nightmare Before Christmas collection. I was so surprised seeing how many people voted for this collection for most disappointing. It wasn't super close, like Cirque's Halloween jellies are up here and then Mooncats is down here. And I do remember seeing a lot of people express disappointment over that release. Personally, I did enjoy that lineup. Like I thought the glitters were really beautiful. The glow-in-the-dark shimmers were really nice. My only kind of complaints were about the glow-in-the-dark, just kind of all glowing green. Like I wish they had some different colors, but overall I was pretty much a fan of that release. But I do understand why people would be disappointed in it, because it really wasn't as crazy and out there as other Mooncat collections or collaborations. Their previous two collaborations were Alice in Wonderland and the Hocus Pocus collection, and those were these like super packed flaky bombs, jellies, magnetics, like all in one. So naturally seeing just these micro glitters and then shimmer formulas, it's kind of very like toned down. I think it's fair to say that it's not Mooncat's strongest collection, but they just set the bar so incredibly high that, you know, not every collection is gonna be a winner for them. And right behind them in third place with one less vote was Holo Taco's One Coat Chromes. Now, I won't lie, even though this didn't win my most disappointing or even my dishonorable mention award, like I did immediately think of this collection, but it's mostly because I wasn't really a fan of the theme or just chromes in general, but the polishes themselves, like they're fine, they work. I do think it was cool to introduce like the pink, teal, and violet shade along with the gold and silver, like the typical expected chrome kind of colors. But yeah, just the formula, the finish wasn't really for me, so this one also makes sense. Moving right along, the next award is Best Collaboration. I thought this was gonna be so fun and interesting because I feel like we saw a lot of collabs this year. There are definitely some questionable ones, like Nails Inc. collabing with Fruit Loops. I think they also collaborated with White Claw. This year we saw a lot of brands and influencer or content creator collabs, but like I just mentioned, Mooncat also collabed with two Disney IPs. My winner is Mooncat's Alice in Wonderland collection. I was just a big fan of this collection and I think they absolutely nailed it for the collab. The polishes just perfectly captured the Alice in Wonderland magic, and even the packaging was absolutely stunning with like the cookie tray inspired box. Such a fun experience overall. But this one came in second place according to voters, with Mooncat's Nightmare Before Christmas right behind them, just losing by 1 point, so it was literally almost tied. But kind of unsurprisingly, your number one pick was Holo Taco's Sophia collection. That's actually my honorable mention because I do think it was such a gorgeous collab. But personally, I'm a little bit more of a fan of the packaging than the actual polishes themselves. I do get the Sophia inspiration and references, but like I mentioned in my original review video, I was kind of surprised that they weren't all these like super dark vampy shades. I just feel like the color palette didn't really wow me as much as Mooncat's did. But everything else with the packaging, the marketing was just so on point, so I am not surprised that they are your winner. And the last award for today is for the best nail polish of 2023. Now, I definitely feel like this was kind of unfair because I mean, I am notorious for not being able to pick just one favorite, but I was really curious to see what you all would have said for this category. This is a new one. It wasn't in last year's video, but I think it's just such a fun idea because again, we saw so many absolutely beautiful polishes that were like must-haves that everybody was like influencing each other to get. So looking at it that way, where the polishes were just constantly talked about and highly praised, I think I would vote for Mooncat's Flight of the Monarchs, which came out in the Lost in a Folktale collection. It is just this absolutely stunning gold to copper shimmer and a slightly purple leaning base color. It's honestly like really hard to tell that the polish has that purple base because you just see so much of that amber glow, but it is absolutely magical, so ethereal. And I feel like everybody would just constantly share that polish when it comes to like favorites, kind of similar to Island Peace Fairy Dust, which was also from the Fairy Forest collection. That one had a bit of a darker purple base with a red to copper leaning shimmer. I feel like this year was just a big year for purple polishes with fiery orangey shimmers. I definitely was a big fan of them overall. Like another favorite that I can think of would be Polish for Days Electra. But I think if I really had to pick like my top polish that was released this year, it would actually go to Polish's I Want to Hold Your Ham that came out in a polish pickup, I think maybe in July, one of the summer months. It is just this beautiful, magical pink base with this green to aqua shifting shimmer and these holographic flakies. It was just one of those shades that just stopped me in my tracks and I gasped, like my jaw hit the floor. It was just so beautiful, so ethereal and glowy, very much giving those like fairy whimsical vibes that I love. And it's pink too, which is my favorite color, so it just was like my top favorite polish of this year. But no surprise, when it came to the voters, Mooncat's House of Hades took first place. This one came out in the Underworld collection in the summer months, and House of Hades sold out like within 30 minutes or something crazy, and it took a while for them to restock it, but it is just this almost neon electric micro flaky in like an indigo jelly base. It is just so insanely vibrant. It really looks like it just glows on the nails, even in indirect light. It is just an insane color. Like if you love blue polish, you really need that shade. And in case you're curious, second place goes to Flight of the Monarchs, which I was honestly kind of surprised that that didn't take first. Part of me wonders if it's because House of Hades is a little bit more recent by a few months, and so it's just fresher in everybody's memories. Actually, tied for second place was also Polish for Days Goblins and Ghoulies, which was another polish pickup shade, but it's another purple jelly kind of base with this really vibrant blue shimmer. It's just one of those super glowy shades. And in third place is another polish pickup shade, and this is Lumen's Glass Frog. I feel like this is almost a controversial one where I definitely expected it to be towards the top because it seemed like everybody and their mother was talking about Glass Frog. I definitely caved in and bought it because it just looked so glowy, and it definitely is, but it's also like very sheer. I'll be sharing swatches and talking a little bit more about it in my upcoming 2023 polish pickup haul video next week. But I guess I was like excited and kind of surprised to see these polish pickup shades in the top 2 and 3 spots because I really don't talk about polish pickup much on my channel except for that haul style video, but that's really like a once a year kind of thing. It was really cool to see just because I was thinking if I should include some polish pickup related awards, whether it was specifically like the best polish pickup shade that came out that year or even a more general like best theme, just to have like a few more awards. So let me know what you think about that idea for next year. So that wraps up my 2023 nail polish awards. Big thank you again to everybody who participated in the survey and voted. Let me know if you voted for any of the winners that were shared in today's video. And again, if you didn't get a chance to vote, I really hope that you comment along with what your winners would be for each award. I had so much fun putting this video together, especially the new aspect of including your votes as well. Let me know if there are any other categories that you might want to see for next year's video or any changes to some of them. Like I think for Nailed the Theme, I do really love that idea for the award, but I wonder if it would be better to have that award go for like a brand in general as opposed to picking a specific collection. Make sure to let me know what you all think down below in the comments so we can chat about it. Thank you so much, not just for joining me in today's awards video, but also for all your support throughout the year. I'm still a relatively new YouTuber. Like I've only had my channel for like a year and a half. And I feel like this past year, my channel has just grown so much. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers, which is just insane to me. So thank you all so much for being here and for supporting me. I really do appreciate it more than you know. So thank you again, and I hope that you all have a happy new year, and I will see you next week in 2024. Bye.